Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm, yeah. Mm. Born and dead, saved by love. Count my blessings from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be something. But remember that love, yes it will. Love will reign. Yeah, love will reign. Yeah. In my heart, I believe it. Love will reign. Oh, yeah, yeah. Have a vision, it's clear and plain. People live and laugh, smiling again. Oh, see the children, they know no pain. Far from pressure, stress and strain. Oh, sorrow, they will pass. For I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But remember that love, yes it will. I know, yeah, love will reign. Gotta believe it. In my heart, I truly believe sun will shine again. And love, I can hardly wait. We'll all be together. There'll be peace, peace, sweet peace, happiness and joy. One day, someday, pain will be over and love will reign. They won't last, for I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But in the end, love will reign. Yeah. Love will reign. Said it in His word. Weeping may endure the night. Love will conquer all. Love will win the fight. So don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. The darkest hour is just before the light. Hate will be crushed, fear will be gone, love will remain and go on and on. Though the road seems rough, my friend, we know how the journey ends. Oh, yeah. La, da, da, da. La, da, da. La, da, da. Oh, oh. La, da, da, da.
Love will reign. Thank you, Kier Coleman Ward for that wonderful song. That is our theme song, Love Will Reign. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist, and I am excited to facilitate the Love and Stuff community where our ultimate goal is to increase the amount of love in the world. So whether you're watching us like Marilyn Hamilton Nelson, who's on our Love and Stuff community page. Hello, Marilyn. Hope that all is well with you. Or Tom Adams, who's watching on the Marcus Holmes page, or whether you're watching us on Twitch TV or YouTube events or Twitter, wherever you're watching from, I hope that you will take a moment right now and pause and click share. Tag 5 of your closest friends, subscribers, or connections, 5 of the more popular ones, to join us as we kick off the 10th month of 2022, October, which is all about breast cancer awareness. And so I hope that you will click share right now and tag someone who might need this very valuable information. You know, we've been through quite a season of plague and disease and turmoil coming out of, and some of us aren't so sure yet we're coming out of, right? But coming out of this pandemic of COVID-19. And we have seen, I know if you're like me, you've seen many people who succumbed to this virus. And some of the people who survived it are having survivor's remorse. Can you imagine now then those that have gone through what has been an epidemic in our world, breast cancer, which recently surpassed lung cancer as the most prevalent cancer, particularly among women, where there are women who now have angel wings and are no longer in the earth school. And yet there are women and men who are survivors, and some of which may have survivor's remorse. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about that, how you might cope with it, as well as I'm hoping that you will call the names of survivors that all month long we can celebrate them, as well as those who moved to a new plane, who gained angel wings and represent us in the heavenlies, who are in the balconies of heaven, cheering on us here that are left in the earth school to make it a better world. So all month long, we will be heralding the names, and we hope that you will drop those names in the comments, share your videos of family, friends, and loved ones who have made that transition, and those that are still here in the earth school, that we might call their names and that we might bring light. We might illuminate the causes around breast cancer to eradicate it and to bring healing to our world, that we might, in our own way here in the Love and Stuff community, increase the amount of love in the world. Thank you, Don, Renee, Ori. A long time no see. You're out there smashing the world out west and all around. Congratulations and kudos to you. Thank you so much. I hope you will click share and tag someone to join us as we share some information all month long. During this month, we will have a few of the survivors that are in and around the Love and Stuff community who will share from their very poignant experiences of surviving, some of them having gone through multiple bouts. And we'll have later an opportunity for you to help someone who is going through a second round, a second fight in the ring for her life, who is fighting this battle of cancer. And we want to bring light that will illuminate and eradicate breast cancer and all cancer. So I hope that you will stick around and that you will share that with others. Did you know there are a number of survivors, and some of them celebrity survivors? Did you know that Wanda Sykes is a survivor, breast cancer survivor, who opted to have the double mastectomy as a preventative measure? Did you know Shannon Doherty from the 90210 fame is still fighting and is valiantly fighting in stage 4 and has been in and out of remission? Christina Applegate. So we often think of, because the statistics say that the median age in 2020 was 63 of breast cancer, those that were diagnosed with breast cancer. But Christina Applegate would be a different age, right? Um, Julia Louis Dreyfus, another person who is a survivor who was also diagnosed. Of course, we've heard a lot in the news about Robin Roberts as well. And did you know that the father of Beyonce, that he also was diagnosed with breast cancer. So it impacts men, not at the highest rate as it does women, but many are impacted by breast cancer. I hope you will click share and tag some folks. Thank you, Vanita Smith, for joining us. I hope others will click share and tag some folks as we'll share some information that we believe is very important. Our hope this month is to illuminate, to bring light to breast cancer awareness, that we might heal and that we might eradicate, that we might increase the amount of love in the world and help people know that they are not alone. So even if you're coming out of COVID and you have survivor's remorse, you had a battle with COVID, or if you have survivor remorse relative to any type of illness, I think some of the coping mechanisms that we will share with you will be ones that you can utilize and hopefully pass on to others to bring awareness to breast cancer, particularly in this month, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So important that we bring awareness to it, to bring light, healing, and love to those that are impacted, and hopefully to bring some cures that will happen. Click share right now, tag someone to join us as we get into some of the statistics, and then we'll talk about some of the coping, and then we have some information that we want to share with you from a doctor who talks about some of the things that you can do here on the Love and Stuff Live.
Welcome to Powerful Money Tools LLC. At Powerful Money Tools, we are here to prepare for your future. We want to talk about financial freedom. Financial freedom is budgeting, credit building, and also financial education. So, once again, welcome to Powerful Money Tools LLC. We can't wait to help you in your financial future.
That's Christina Smith, who is the owner of Powerful Money Tools LLC. She is a member of our Love and Stuff community and one of our partners here. And you will do yourself well if you want to get your financial house in order. A number of people have sought out her sage advice and are winning the game financially. You definitely want to reach out to her, Christina Smith, here on Facebook, or Powerful Money Tools LLC everywhere else. Thank you, Rondell Murray, for joining us. I hope you will click share and tag some folks to join us as we talk a little bit about survivor's remorse. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the statistics, and some of this you may already know, but breast cancer became the most common cancer globally as of 2021, accounting for 12% of all new annual cancer cases worldwide, according to the World Health Organization. And in women under 45, breast cancer is more common in Black women than white women. Overall, Black women are more likely to die from breast cancer. I need you to hear that so that you can make sure that all of the women in your life are aware of what they can and hopefully will do to take preventative measures, and hopefully to be able to be one of the survivors without remorse. In 2020, there were 2.3 million women diagnosed with breast cancer and 685,000 deaths globally. At the end of 2020, there were 7.8 million women alive who were diagnosed with breast cancer in the 5 years preceding, making it the world's most prevalent cancer. There are more lost disability adjusted life years by women to breast cancer globally than any other type of cancer. Breast cancer occurs in every country of the world in women at any age after puberty, but with increasing rates in later life. And as I aforementioned, in 2020, the median age was 63 years old, but we know that there are women across the spectrum as it relates to age who have been diagnosed and have battled breast cancer. Did you know that the US is not number one? We're number 10, though I would not want us to be on the list for diagnoses, at 253,465 cases. And it's projected, because the data lags behind about a year and a half, that in 2021 there were 284,200 cases. 2,650 of those cases were men, that there would be 44,000 deaths, 44,130 deaths, and 530 deaths of men, for a total of I'm sorry, for a total of 44,130 deaths, 43,600 of those deaths women. Okay. Roshona Porter has joined us. Thank you so much, Vicki Johnson Williams. Thank you, choosing me unique. All of you. I hope you will click share and tag someone as we share some of the information, as we shine the light on breast cancer awareness this month, in the hope that we can bring light, hope, love, and healing to it. Approximately half of breast cancers developed in women who have no identifiable breast cancer risk factors other than being women and over 40, which are the two main risk factors. Certain factors increase the risk of breast cancer, which include age, obesity, harmful use of alcohol, family history of breast cancer, history of radiation experience, reproductive history, such as age that menstrual periods began and age at first pregnancy, tobacco use, and postmenopausal hormone therapy. There are also some behavioral choices cited by the World Health Organization that reduce the risk of breast cancer: prolonged breastfeeding, regular physical activity, weight control, avoidance of harmful use of alcohol, avoidance of exposure to tobacco smoke, avoidance of prolonged use of hormones, and avoidance of excessive radiation exposure. Even if all of the potentially modifiable risk factors could be controlled, it would still only reduce the risk of developing breast cancer by at most 30%, which is why a cure is so important. It is so important that we take preventative measures, but we also need cure. And so I think it's so important that everybody, because all of these behavioral modifications take the support of a community. So it's not just women, even though women, of course, make up 77% of the Love and Stuff community and most of the world. And who would want to be in the world without the beauty, grace, and goodness of women, right? So we have to care for our wives, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our cousins, and them, right? To ensure that they have the appropriate support to help modify behaviors that might lessen their risk. We aren't forgetting the men. Some of these same behaviors are attributable potentially to reducing the risk of breast cancer in men as well. I want to go to a video now of a doctor from Virginia, John Williams, and he provides us some keen advice about what we can do as individuals in this battle against breast cancer. John Williams.
I thought it was time for me as a breast cancer surgeon to give more thought to what Breast Cancer Awareness Month means. And after giving it more thought, there are three things that I think that you should know. Number one, what can you do for others, most importantly? What can you do for yourself to help yourself do better or prevent yourself from getting breast cancer? And number three, if you are motivated, what core value do you have to help others and help yourself along the way? So, helping others, it is the most blessed thing that we do. And I think that it's so important to think of others that have had breast cancer, or family members or friends, and reach out and touch them. It is the act of kindness and warmth, which is what we do as humans, as physicians, but most importantly, friends and family, that is what is important. And think that someone that's had breast cancer not only has had to endure the pain of surgery and other things, but more importantly, the psychological pain and trauma of having their entire life upended and uprooted and having to reassess who they are and where they are in this world. What can you do for yourself? Well, the key thing to remember is get back to getting an annual mammogram if you're 40 or older. COVID upended all of screening. It's all coming back, and it's all open now. But it's so easy to fall off the wagon of doing something annually that's really kind of a pain anyway, and it's easy to not return. And that's my main message to you. Is make sure you go through the hassles of trying to get a mammogram order and getting back to getting an annual mammogram. It really saves lives. What we're working at the National Cancer Institute about, and I think you should know this, is that identifying whether you're at a high risk or meet the qualifications for genetic testing for the breast cancer gene, the BRCA mutation, or other cancer-causing genes. And some of the red flags that you may, or a friend may have, or a family member might have, is having breast cancer before the age of 50. Anyone with ovarian cancer meets the criteria because they're at high risk. A family that has a man that had breast cancer. And there are other cancers such as colorectal cancer and uterine cancer and pancreatic cancer that are all relevant in testing for all of these genes. That if you have that, then we can take better care of you and more intensive screening and find cancers because you're at a super high risk for getting breast cancer, ovarian cancer, or other cancers. Beyond genetic testing, what we're trying to do as a nation is trying to identify who's at a higher risk than normal, strong family history of breast cancer, for example, and make sure that those women and a few men get the screening they need and get the care that they need. And engaging your physician, engaging information online to learn if you're at a high risk for breast cancer is super important. The last thing I think I would like to share is that find a core value within you, something that's important, whether you're good at it or not, and then contribute that to either your friends or family or people that you know that have had breast cancer. But also if you want to contribute to breast cancer organizations, your time, your energy, your resources, find what you're good at and contribute that. I found that I felt that I was good at educating women about breast cancer in my practice, and because of that, I created the largest online breast cancer school for patients. So find what you enjoy doing and follow through with it. It's hard work, but ultimately doing for others and putting the time in to get it done is worth all of the work and makes life so fulfilling. So from a breast surgeon in Northern Virginia, a breast cancer advocate, that's what I think Breast Cancer Awareness Month means to me.
Marcus, I want to congratulate you on Love and Stuff. I really want you to know that staying grateful and understanding the power of what it is to be operating out of a space of abundance and gratitude is the most important part of every journey of every day. So Marcus June, congratulations on this book. It's on Amazon now. That makes me so proud of you and your family and me and my family, and every single person around us gets it. So good on you for bringing it into the hands and the laps and the Kindles of all the people. Okay, so we're going to check it out. Can't wait to learn more.
I thought it was so important at this point to share, and thank you so much, MJ, of course, from Shahs of Sunset. Thank you so much to share about the gratefulness journey. We're talking today about survivor's remorse, and I have not personally experienced breast cancer, even though I know a number of people, some of which are have been or are relatively close to me, but I do understand survivor's remorse. It is one of the reasons that I authored the book, The Gratefulness Journey Every Day. What are you doing in the next 30 days to transform your life? Having experienced the loss of one of my closest friends, three of my four siblings, both of my parents, at sometimes you ask yourself, well, Lord, why did you leave me here? Why did you take all the good people? Because I think that my brother and sisters were some of the most extraordinary people. Of course, I'm biased, they're my siblings. My parents, some of the most extraordinary people in the world, some of the most kind and giving, some of the most loving and passionate and fiercely loyal people that I've ever seen on the face of this planet. And you may feel the same way about those within your family and community of love. And there were times when I wondered, because heart conditions and heart attacks kind of ran deep on one side of the family. There were times I thought every birthday, though I love to celebrate birthdays, as you may know if you follow me, I love to celebrate life because it's truly a gift. But every birthday, I was almost crossing my fingers, hoping, am I going to make it to 41? Am I going to make it to 42? Am I going to make it to 43, 44, 45? Because I had this remorse about, here I have siblings who lived, I thought, more circumspectly than I, who were more handsome than I, more talented than I, um, more giving than I, smarter clearly than I. And Lord, why would you leave me here? Why would you allow them, some of them, to die suddenly on the holiday, or get up for work and not go be able to make it to work, or suffer with a debilitating illness? Why would you let them go through all of the things that they experienced and allow me to almost not experience many of those things? Why not me? Why did I get spared? Why am I still here? I had survivor's remorse. And with every year, I would say, well, Lord, thank you so much. And I just don't know if the other shoe will drop. I had this kind of remorse about still being here while they were angels on the balcony of heaven, still being here and enjoying life and being able to fulfill some things while it seemed that their lives were cut short. And I always hearken back to the wonderful words of wisdom from my dear mother, bless her memory, who said, you can reserve the right to grieve as deeply and for as long as you need to, but you must also reserve the right to be grateful for and thankful for and take inventory of everything and everybody that you have left. And those words still bring me chills when I think about it. It's the perfect remedy in my thinking of how to address survivor's remorse. Now, again, my survivor's remorse was over about 6 or 7 people over the span of 8 or 9 years, some of them 2 in 1 year. And all of them not expected at the time that those things occurred. And I had a guilt about why God would leave the imperfect one, why God would leave the least of them. And maybe that's you. Maybe you've experienced breast cancer, or you've experienced some debilitating disease. You experienced COVID and you survived and other people did not. And you're asking, why? Why am I still here? And I want to encourage you, as a way, as a mechanism to cope with that, to ask yourself, why not? Why not take the time that was granted to me, for whatever the reasons that the creator of love, all that is love, decided to will me into existence, for my moments to roll on, whatever his reasoning is, that I will maximize and redeem the time to accomplish all that he would have me accomplish and be all that he would have me to be. And for those warrior angels who exchange mortal for immortality, that I will live in a way that honors them, because they would want me to carry on. They would not want me to trade in wings because that they have. They would want me to continue to move forward. And so I want to share some of those coping mechanisms, coping tips, if you will, that you can employ for your own life, and hopefully that you will pass along to others who might have survivor's remorse who might say, why didn't you take me instead of my wife, or take me instead of my daughter? I can't answer why, but I can challenge you to ask, why not? Why not that you would stay? Why not that you would still be here? And so right after this, we're going to go into those coping mechanisms. And I hope that these are ones that will help you and that you will pass them along to others. We're talking about surviving, living beyond the traumas that your life has brought to you. I'm Marcus Holmes, and this is the Love and Stuff community, and all month long, in a hope to increase the amount of awareness around breast cancer, to shine light on it that might bring it healing and hope. We will be talking about survivors and angels in the hopes that we can get more people to be serious about their health, be serious about preventative measures to live the very best life, and to hopefully eradicate this dreadful disease that has become more prevalent than lung cancer. Yes, we're talking about breast cancer has become, according to the World Health Organization, more prevalent a cancer than lung cancer. As an excerpt from my book, I wanted to share this with you because, again, my survivor's remorse was around losing 3 siblings, 3 of my 4 siblings. It was around losing both parents, around losing, shortly after one of my siblings, my father's goddaughter, my cousin, within 3 months of that. Losing my best friend, one of my dearest friends from high school, and watching other family members, uncles and aunts and cousins, just in almost succession, almost as if there was a procession to heaven happening over a 9-year span. I began to say, why leave the imperfect one? Why? There are so many great reasons to have kept my siblings, to have kept my parents. I don't know if you think like that or thought like that, but I certainly have, and thought very guilty about being still here and being in good health. Each year, as I crossed a new birthday, there was a little sliver of guilt that I was still here, knowing that I had more intelligent and more creative and more brilliant and more savvy and more witty and more kind siblings whose lives were very full, but very short in my estimation. So in writing the gratefulness journey every day, I wrote this that I want to share with you. Author Ernest Gaines writes that the major conflict in my work is when the Black male attempts to go beyond the line drawn for him. My conflict was that the line was drawn. I just didn't know it. Attempt after attempt, I hit my head against the walls of consternation, trying desperately to access peace. I needed peace to deal with the exit of loved ones from my life. I longed for peace to weather the racism and microaggressions that I experienced on the job. I hoped for peace, to salve the struggles, to bring my authentic self forward into every aspect of my being. I wanted to share that because that was a true place that I was in at that time after experiencing the loss of my mom, which she was the last in that procession, if you will, to heaven of those segment of folks. First, my sister, my eldest sister, the sweetest person I think I've ever met. And then maybe 11 months later, my brother, who was like a mentor, and I probably was the kid brother that he would elbow, but I wanted to be so much like him, died suddenly Thanksgiving Day. To my one of my closest friends from high school being found um, deceased in his home. To my sister, whose health went down in the matter, seemingly in the matter of a few months, and leaving my beautiful, sweetest, sweetie girl in the whole wide world without a mother. To watching the light go out of my dad's eyes when my sister died on Father's Day of 2008. And my father didn't live to see another Father's Day. He died May of 2009. To watch my mother's health decline and my mother's siblings' health decline, and to watch her siblings in succession pass, and then to watch her pass, I was at a place of survivor's remorse. Here is a woman who lived her life for God and ensured that her family did. Here was a man that cared for his family, his property, his children, paid his taxes, and served his God to the best of his ability. Here were siblings that had relationships with Jesus and who loved people and loved the work that they did to serve in this present age, who were parents and spouses and did all of the things and were brilliant and smart and gifted. And here I am. Again, I call myself the least of these, though I may have a monicum of smarts. I don't know. I always thought that my siblings were smarter. And it might have been when I went to schools behind them, the teachers would say, "Oh, your brother's really great in this," or "Your sister is so smart in this. I know you're going to be good in this." It was this expectation. It was never a discussion of what my path would be. I never recall having a discussion with my parents. Well, I'm going to go to college and do this. All of that was just a given because I was following in the footsteps of really circumspect people, from my estimation, who lived out our family name with honor, dignity, and respect. And I thought, I'm the least of these. All of them gifted in their own ways. Some of them gifted in many ways. My brother Stephen gifted in many, many ways. My sister Vanessa gifted in many, many ways. All of them leaders, all of them smart, all of them gifted, all of them well loved. And then there's me. Now, there will be people that say, "Oh, you are well loved, you're smart, you're handsome." I'll take all of those. Thank you. Toss them on the stage. I'll take all the roses. But in my estimation, my siblings were far superior to that. Yet their lives were full but taken short. I wondered why I was left. Because after all, I'm not the perfect person. I'm kind, not as kind as them. I'm good looking, not as good looking as them. In my mind, these things you see, I thought would not be living up to that standard, though I tried for a period of time. And I said, why? And I remember as I began to get to 40, I began to get nervous because I had siblings die at 41, 42, 49. And each passing year, while I celebrate birthdays, one of the reasons why I do, because I believe life is a gift. a gift we should relish, cherish, and celebrate. So that's why you see all of the birthday posts. I'm just madly in love with celebrating birthdays. I think if you don't celebrate life, you're not really living. But each year, I had a little bit of trepidation, I must admit, thinking, will this be the year? After all, I'm the least of these. And it must be something that God wants me to get right, because He took these well thought, well lived individuals early, in my estimation. I had survivor's remorse. I had guilt that I'm cut from the same stock, but I didn't endure all of the same challenges, health challenges, issues. I had survivor's remorse. And that advice from my mom couldn't have come at a better time, where I thought there was nothing to celebrate one Thanksgiving. The kitchen was closed, in my estimation, in 2012. By that time, all of my siblings had passed and my dad. Two of my mom's siblings had passed. Three of my cousins who were like siblings had passed, and one of my closest friends. And so, because this happened from 2005 to 2012, a short time to experience all of that loss back to back to back to back, I didn't see any reason to celebrate Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving in our family is a big holiday. It is about family and yams and sweet potato pies and chitlins. Bless you if you don't eat them, I'll eat your share. And turkey and giblet gravy and dressing and all of the fixings, right? It's about time together. It's about family. It's about the parade. It's about traditions. It's about love. And I didn't feel any of that happening. And my mother said, at that time I was caregiving for her, and I heard her voice calling from upstairs for me to come upstairs, Marcus. And I went running upstairs thinking, what's going on? And she said, I don't smell anything. I said, well, no, ma'am, you don't, because I'm going to go to Uptown Barbecue and get us a plate, me, you, and Autumn, and that's going to be Thanksgiving. And she pats my hand and says, oh, no, baby, come here. And I draw in close to her, and she says, you have the right to grieve for as long as you want and as deeply as you want. But you must also reserve the right to be thankful for and grateful for and take inventory of everything and everybody you have left. Of course, I have to go in voice when I'm doing my mom. And to this day, I still get the same chills. That started the gratefulness journey every day. Because I was having survivor's remorse, I was lamenting over all that was lost. I don't mean that I couldn't find it. All that was a deficit, all that was gone, all that had ended, all that was no more. And why I would be remaining. Instead of saying, I am remaining, and here is everything, including the museum of memories that I have left. That started the gratefulness journey every day. And I believe among the items that I'm going to share with you right now about coping with survivor's remorse are applicable in this month to survivors of breast cancer and to the family members who are like me saying, well, Lord, you took the best of my family. Why didn't you give me breast cancer? Why was it not me? I cannot answer why it wasn't you or I. I can only challenge you as I have challenged myself to say, why not? Why not have you survive? Now, that might for some seem a little callous. I'm not saying it is okay, and I don't have questions for Jesus about why I got why questions. But I am coming to a peace with the why not question. Why not have you as a survivor? Why not still have you maximize and redeem the time that you have? Why not? And so I hope these coping mechanisms, and if you're interested in them, I'll be happy to share those with you in a free ebook. If you want to have it, please drop in the comments, and I'll be happy to make sure that you do have it. But here are about 6 things I think you can use to help you to cope. Number 1, and I think it's really important, and thank you, Staffy, for joining us, Ginger Henry, Andrew Jerome Crawford, Stacy English, Ironda Brooks. I hope all of you will click share. Felix Holmes, Patricia Taylor. Thank you all for joining. I hope that you will use these tools as we want to increase the amount of love in the world. We want to increase the amount of light on breast cancer awareness. We want to illuminate it and eradicate breast cancer and bring hope and healing to those and the families that have had to contend with this terrible, terrible disease, which now is more prevalent than lung cancer, according to the World Health Organization. First thing you got to do, and we typically don't want to do it, but when you're surviving, you got to feel all the feelings that you feel. Now, I'm going to tell you, a mental health professional is the one that's best tasked to help you do this. I am not a psychologist by trade. I started in psychology at Michigan State. I did not matriculate in psychology, though I still try to use some of it. You want a mental health professional to do that, right? But you got to feel all the feelings that you feel. Fear, scared, tired, angry. Feel all the feelings. Don't suppress any of the feelings. Because the more we suppress or ignore our emotions, the more control they have over us. And this is stuff I love to teach on. Emotional intelligence is really getting in touch with your emotions, understanding your triggers, and then being able to navigate them. You can never control anything that you will not face. You cannot control your emotions if you will not face them and get in touch with them. So you got to feel all the feelings and address your feelings directly. It's going to open the door for you to accept where you are. It could be, Lord, help my unbelief, because I don't believe that I should still be here. And that's okay to be there. You got to go through that door so that you can get to the reality that there is a purpose and a reason why you are still here. So it's okay to feel grief. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay to feel sadness, along with the guilt that you survived this shared traumatic experience. So you went through breast cancer and you had a mastectomy, and you made it through. You went through COVID, you were on a ventilator, they weaned you off, and your cousin didn't make it. That's a shared traumatic experience for your family. Feel what you feel, don't ignore it. It can sometimes feel overwhelming. And whenever you feel yourself flooded with overwhelming emotions, the go-to for you should be to pause what you're doing and breathe. Breathing, I think, is one of the most important ways to center yourself while you are feeling what you're feeling. It does not dispel your feelings. It gives you the power. You put you back in control while you're feeling it. I say 3 clarifying breaths to begin. Breathing in through your nose to the count of 4, holding it to the count of 7, releasing it to the count of 4. Do that 3 times. And as you're getting calmer, you can increase the number of seconds that you're breathing in, holding, and exhaling until you flood your brain and say, I'm not in fight or flight. I'm feeling angry, but I'm not in fight or flight. I'm feeling sad. I'm not in fight or flight. I'm still able to control my emotions and feel them. I can be present in the emotions. I can feel what it feels to sit on this chair and sit in my pain. Especially often when you're processing traumas, you might need to have this done with a professional. And I know sometimes people think that's taboo in the African American community and in other communities. It can be a safe space emotionally and psychologically. So don't discount it. Feel all of your feelings. That's number one. Number two, seek help. You don't have to do it by yourself. It could be your pastor, or maybe it's not your pastor. It could be a counselor. It could be that mental health professional. It could be a coworker. It could be someone who's gone through a similar journey, because grief and guilt can often feel overwhelming. So you got to recognize when you're struggling to say, I need some help. And it takes courage to do that, I must admit. Sometimes we want to just deal with what we're dealing with, but you got to have some help. You got to have some help to navigate this new reality, which is called survivorship. You got to lean on somebody. It could be your family, it could be that therapist, but you got to build you a support network. Most times we already have it in place. We just don't tap into it. We don't plug into the people that are already there. Sometimes we're like, I don't have a support system. Everybody does. Now, sometimes the support system is dysfunctional, but you got to find the function in what is dysfunctional and pull out on that, right? And then reach outside of that circle, outside of what the Okinawans call your moas, outside of your 5 people, and reach to people who can help you walk through that journey. If you can, find a specialist who specializes, therapist rather, who specializes in working with people living with cancer or living with whatever the situation is that you're recovering from. Very, very helpful, and especially getting with a local breast cancer support advocacy group or organization, if it's cancer, COVID, if it's COVID, so that they understand the intricacies of what you're dealing with. And find you another survivor, because it's good to find someone who's walking a similar journey with you. And you'll be surprised at the difference in your perspectives, even though you're going through something very similar. So the second thing is seek that help, right? Put yourself in the shoes of the person that you lost. This is a tough one, because the person is gone and all you have are the museum of memories. And I used to say that all I have is, but you have more than just what you have. It's not just. You have a wealth, a treasure trove of memories, of sayings, of memorabilia, of different things of that person or persons, right? Because listen, it's easy to tell yourself a false narrative. And some people tell themselves, I just can't go on without you. Now, think about the relationship of the person that you lost. And when I use that word, I don't mean you can't find them. I mean that is gone, ended, deficit, right? How many of those people would tell you, you're right, you shouldn't go on without me? Now, if you were the person, God forbid, that was taken, would you want people to stop living? Would you really? I wouldn't. I don't want to go before I'm 94. But if I go before 94 and Jesus sends a chariot for me to just take me on up into heaven, Lord, please take me on up. I don't want the people that remain to say, well, Marcus is gone. I'm gone too. There's no reason for me to live. No, no. I want the people who I love to live the best. I want them to live out and maximize the remaining time they have. Don't you think that your loved ones want the same for you? They don't want you to live in misery and grief forever. They want you to pick up your bed of grief and walk and live. Put yourself in their shoes. What would they say to you if they could tell you about moving forward? If the roles were reversed, would you want them to find joy? Would you want them to fulfill their dreams? Would you want them to remember you? And would you want them to remember you in the happy times? You can work on reframing your thoughts by imagining what you would want for them and then getting it for yourself. You got to put yourself in their shoes. Then you have to practice mindfulness. And oftentimes people think of mindfulness as mindlessness, just having your mind wanderously aim. But mindfulness, a form of it like meditation, is for you to be full of mind, full of thought, full of reflection, so that you ground your thinking in what is present. So when you're noticing those feelings of guilt and grief, you might write in a journal. You might practice gratefulness. You might try a guided meditation or prayer. You might try yoga. Anything that will center yourself in the present moment and you become aware of everything that's present, including the ancestor angels, including those that are on the balcony of heaven, whose presence you might feel, whose voices you might still hear. Be mindful, be full of mind, not less of mind, full of mind that there is a present moment that you are called to be in. And be fully present in the moment and feel what is happening in the moment. Now, if in that moment you are having ideations or thoughts of hurting yourself, you still need to seek mental health professional assistance. That can happen even in your quiet times. If you're in a quiet space and you aren't able to center yourself in that space, and all you can think are emotions and ideas of hurting yourself, you still need to come out of that mindfulness moment and seek help. You are deep in depression. If you need the assistance of a professional. Don't leave it to yourself, but practice mindfulness so long as you're in a mindset where you can be present in the moment. Being present in the moment also means that there are some people absent in the moment, and you come present to that. And you sit and meditate over this new reality that you're walking through. Practice mindfulness. Another thing to cope, I think you have to reframe the if only. You know how sometimes we lose people and we say, if only I had spent more time, if only I had called more, if only I had gone by there, if only I had made the trip down there, like followed my first mind. In the reality, we do not have control. And it's hard to come to terms with because we spend so much of our lives trying to be in control. But when you do your best, that's enough. And when you haven't, you do not get the second chance. You have to come to a reconciliation of what you have and have not been able or made time to do. So you can make a list of your if onlys. And then you work to reframe them, rewrite them as statements of what you did do. So if you say, oh, if I only had more time to check in to that assisted living facility, maybe she would have known and she would have had the support and I would have got her strength. Maybe you reframe it saying, I'm so glad that I was present during the days that I was being able to show her or him love. I'm so glad I was able to say hello that last time and we had a good visit. I'm glad that even though our visit didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, I know that she knew I loved her in spite of my imperfections. Now, if only my last word wasn't a raised voice, I know I raised my voice, but I know that I loved her and I demonstrated that love to her. You got to reframe the if only to ensure that you're not putting a claim of guilt on you that you cannot reconcile because someone else is no longer present to hear the story. Do something kind for someone else. If you're struggling with survivor's guilt or remorse, then you do have empathy and you are kind. You can't change the past, but you can repurpose that energy around guilt into acts of kindness. So if you are having remorse about being a breast cancer survivor, or you're still hearing your spouse succumb to breast cancer, or your daughter or child, why not give to the breast cancer community? Why not volunteer, walk in a race? And in a moment, I'll give you an opportunity to touch the life of someone in and around the Love and Stuff community who could use your help. You see, giving your time and your expertise and your talent to a relevant organization can help you honor those that have gone on and give you a sense of direction for your life. Do something kind for someone else. And lastly, among the things you can use to cope, and again, if you're interested, I'd be happy to share this with you in an ebook for free for you to use all month long and for you to pass along to others so that we can illuminate light on breast cancer awareness, support, healing, and eradication of this prevalent disease that has now become more prevalent than lung cancer. Lastly, you're not alone. No matter how deeply you are experiencing survivor's remorse or guilt, you're not the only one. It's completely natural for you to feel guilt, for you to be in grief, especially after a life-threatening experience, such as COVID, breast cancer, any experience where not everyone survived. I mean, you're not supposed to suddenly wake up and say, I survived it, even though I love Ricky Dillard's song, I survived it. It doesn't mean that you're not aware that others didn't. And so your recovery and survival is complicated and it's volatile. It's something you have to navigate every day. And it can get easier as you go along. You have to give yourself time to process it so that you can heal. And when you're ready, these coping mechanisms will help you navigate that guilt. Because I think you have to come to this real awareness, one that I came to in my survivor's remorse. My siblings, Vanessa, Stephan, and Adrian, my friend Anthony, my aunts Estella and Lizzie, or Elizabeth, we called her Aunt Lizzie, my cousin Davana in Georgia, my cousin Mary Lou, my dad Herbert, my mother Princess. They didn't die because I lived. I didn't live because they died. Their dying has impacted my living. but every one of them would want me to press on to better living. If you can find some truth and solace in between those words anywhere, you can move from simply surviving back into living without the guilt that so often is associated with surviving traumatic experiences where not everyone survived. Your survival is a gift. It's a gift in honor of their memory, and it's a gift to be lived with the utmost holy respect that life is precious and it is to be maximized for the glory of the Creator love, for the glory of God. And there is much left to do, even if you think you've only been given a little left. These are coping mechanisms that you can definitely use. And again, feel all the feelings, seek help, put yourself in their shoes, practice mindfulness, reframe the if only, do something kind for someone else, and remember, you're not alone. I want you to have an opportunity to do something kind for someone else. There is a woman that is a breast cancer survivor who is now going into a second bout of breast cancer. Her name is Karen Bogarty Hairston. And she is recently back under the care of the doctors. I have just left a link in the comments for the GoFundMe to help her fight this next bout of cancer. She's a valiant, God-fearing, gutsy, feisty woman who is not going to just lay down, but she's going to fight. And I hope that you will join us in helping her fight by your contributions to the GoFundMe. It is one way that we can be light for her and we can increase the amount of love in the world. I will also put the link on the page in a post and pin it so that you can go to the Love and Stuff page and help her reach her goal, where, as you may know, insurances don't cover everything. And this battle against cancer is unfortunately an expensive and financially debilitating one. Let's help her through this journey and others like her, where we can increase the amount of love in the world by doing kind acts for someone else. We're at 8:03, and I promised to keep it to an hour. I want you to join us next week. Next week, we will be talking to survivors of breast cancer, some of them who have had a number of bouts, and we'll talk a little bit more about the survivor remorse and how they have navigated and are navigating in remission. I am thankful for all of the angel warriors who are in the great coronation, who are in a great procession of rest from their weary labors here in this earth school. And I am grateful for those that valiantly fought and survived. And in this month, I challenge and charge you to find gratefulness for both and let it lead you into the light of awareness of healing, of hope, that whatever you are experiencing, have experienced, or will experience, you are not alone. You can cope with it. The quintessential love has willed you into existence for a time like this. And he is equipping, has equipped, and will equip you to deal with, to cope with whatever life will bring. I'm Marcus Holmes, and this is the Love and Stuff community, where we seek to increase the amount of love in the world. We do it one person at a time, one opportunity at a time, to share love in a way that the person who is receiving it will know that they're not alone. This community is a place, young and seasoned, Black, white, Latino, every hue, across platforms, where you want to increase the amount of love in your life. Not just your husband, your wife, your boo, your bae. It could be your son, your daughter, your parents, your grandparents, your coworkers. What the world really needs is more love. And love will overcome evil. Love will overcome disease. And if it is to do that, it must be done through you and I. The Father, who is the quintessential love, has willed into existence a life of love, and he wrote a love book full of chapters just for us to guide us to love him. And I know that I'm the least of these in doing that. And so I'm on that journey to continue to love him with all of my mind, body, soul, and strength, and my neighbor as myself. So my second task, after loving him, understanding his love and being enveloped in that love and loving him, is to love myself. If you're on a journey to love yourself, you should go to the Love and Stuff community page, and under groups, click on Inside Love and Stuff, so that you can come inside the journey that we are on, a self-love, self-care journey. If you are still in that first part, like me, working on loving God, you should join us on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Love and the Scriptures with Darren Williams, who is a prognosticator of the gospel, a preacher par excellence, and a great educator. And all of that is about seeking out love in the scriptures. And if you're ready to love others, and you say, I'm already loving others, well, you're ready to do it better, then you need to ensure that you stay in this Love and Stuff community and connect with the great people here in the community, along with great offerings like Sports Talk with Kamal and Felix, which will be joining us on Sweetest Day for a special edition show. Now, we know Sweetest Day started with Candy for Orphans, and it morphed into supposed to be the Valentine's Day for the men. But ladies, we know you are not forgotten on Sweetest Day, and Love and Stuff community has not forgotten you. We have a special feature in the Saturday 11 a.m. Eastern Standard show for you on October 15th. You don't want to miss it. See, our community is filled with people who just want to do a better job at loving. And its facilitator has a lot of work left to do himself. I hope you will join me on that journey to increasing the amount of love in our world and in our lives. This is Love and Stuff, and we're proud this month of October with our pink and shades of pink to stand in solidarity with women and men all around the world, to let them know they are not alone in this battle against breast cancer, and we unite with them as a power of light, healing, and love to eradicate cancer and to bring healing to those that have experienced it. Thank you for joining us. I hope that you will click, share, and tag someone and share this content. And if you're interested in getting those 6 coping mechanisms in an ebook, drop your name in the comments and say, I want that ebook, and we'll ensure that you get it. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm so pleased that you were here. Thank you so much. Have a grateful rest of your evening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Born and died, saved by love. Count my blessings.